From the nation's capital, Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. A weekly discussion about the federal issues most important to Nevada. And now, from Washington, D.C., here's Marilee Joyce.
And good day to you. I'm Marilee Joyce, and this is Eye on Washington. It's the only statewide Nevada news program produced in Washington, D.C. Every week, Eye on Washington takes you straight to Capitol Hill for a discussion with Nevada's delegation and other leaders about the federal matters that matter to you. Today's topic, better health through DNA testing, a first-of-its-kind Nevada-based study, and what its results could mean to the future of healthcare. My special guest today is Dr. Tony Slonim. He is the president and CEO of Renown Health. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you, Marilee.
Appreciate it. Well, 2 years ago, Northern Nevada made history with the launch of a first-ever community-based population health study combining clinical, genetic, and environmental data with the goal of providing personalized precision medicine for individuals while improving health statewide. And now initial results are being released. And today on Eye on Washington, we'll tell you how my guests, Renown Health and Northern Nevada, are making history. We'll learn why he believes this unique DNA sampling project will allow for more precise healthcare treatments. And we'll get an update on the greatly expanded Phase 2, which kicked off shortly before the taping of today's program. Well, all this excitement centers around the Healthy Nevada Project, a DNA sample collection whose first phase, begun in September 2016, saw an unprecedented 10,000 Nevadans signing up in just 48 hours, and the DNA sampling completed in just 69 working days. We'll ask my guests about the preliminary results just now rolling out, but let's first look at this. Why Nevada? Specifically, why Northern Nevada? Well, care providers and scientists wanted to focus specifically on Washoe County because of the area's very high age-adjusted death rates for heart disease, cancer, and chronic lower respiratory disease. But while Northern Nevada is our focus today, the whole state could get a lot healthier. The Nevada Division of Public Health's most recently released data on causes of death in the state says these lead the list: cancer, heart disease, and lower respiratory disease, as we mentioned, but also chronic liver disease and cirrhosis, influenza and pneumonia, Alzheimer's disease, diabetes mellitus, strokes, and suicide. And, Doctor, I want to get to the results of the study in a bit, but I want to focus for a second on the choosing of Washoe County. It's very high in those three diseases I mentioned, and I know that focusing in on that area was really important to you for this study.
The Washoe County is a great place to have the study. We have a large, integrated health system with an electronic medical record that goes back 10 years. And the investigators, our partners from Desert Research Institute, are also co-located around the block. So it was very easy for us to execute the study. And when you add that to the fact that in Washoe County, we have chronic disease rates and deaths from chronic disease rates that exceed national averages.
33% above the national average, a third higher.
Terrible. And it was a real opportunity for us to focus.
I saw a study from the Washoe County Health District. It says almost all leading causes of death and disability in the county are due to chronic diseases that relate to one or more factors, including poor nutrition, physical inactivity, tobacco use, and exposure. And you're really seeing that in Washoe County, aren't you?
You are. And the opportunity that we have is to give people information about their genetics and hopefully engage them in a conversation about health and health literacy and examples of how they can live healthier by stopping smoking, eating right, etc. But what we know is that some people don't have access to good nutrition. Some people don't have access to safe living environments. And those, what we call social determinants of health, are as influential on your overall health status as anything else we have.
The CDC says that chronic diseases account for 70% of all deaths, and they cause, of course, major limitations in your daily living as well for 10% of all Americans, which, as you've mentioned, is seriously bad in Washoe County. But the good news is you believe that your study might really turn things around.
Well, there are a couple of ways I think it will help. One, we're engaging people in a conversation about health and what it means to be healthy. You know, being able to be out in the outdoors, which is amazing in northern Nevada, letting people take advantage of that, letting them go on a hike, making sure they're exercising appropriately, making sure that they're using the resources that are available to them are as important as anything else. Genetics is a small sliver, but by engaging them in the conversation perhaps about their ancestry, we will further have a conversation about what's making them unhealthy and what they can do to change their behavior.
You know, and we've talked about this, and I know you're so excited about this project, and it's funny because that news report I mentioned, it cited the Washoe County Chief Medical Examiner and Coroner saying that she expects the rising trend of deaths in Nevada from diseases and conditions we've discussed to continue. And I thought, not if Dr. Slonim can help it, right?
You know, these kinds of things take time, but you have to start somewhere. So we're starting here, and hopefully over the course of time we'll be able to help improve those mortality rates.
Okay. And so just what is the Healthy Nevada Project, and why does my guest believe it just might change healthcare as we know it? Let's find out right after this.
You're watching Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, brought to you by Caesars Entertainment, the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County, the Las Vegas Sands Corporation, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, NV Energy, Jim Marsh Automotive and Body Shop, the Rogich Communications Group, and Renown Health.
I have 3 tests next week. I'm going to be studying all weekend. Ugh. Are you studying tonight? We can meet up and study together. Oh yeah, that sounds good. What time? I work until 6. Okay, sounds good. Just text me after. Okay. No!
There is no text, tweet, or call that's worth a life.
One pedestrian death is one too many.
Look up.
And look out for each other.
Want more federal news that affects Nevada, its businesses, and its residents? Then you need to subscribe to Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter, your sole source of online news direct from Washington, D.C. Visit joycecommunications.com and subscribe today.
Planet Hollywood, Paris, Harrah's, Caesar's Palace. It's one of the most exciting skylines in the world, Las Vegas. Caesars Entertainment has nearly 50 casinos worldwide, including these. But no matter which casino you visit, we want you to play responsibly. And if you need help setting or keeping a limit, we hope you'll call this number. You see, we know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
I got my own iPod Touch and used my dad's login to get on gambling sites. Poker is the best, but I'm losing a lot. Since I'm too young to play, they're not allowed to keep the money, and my dad won't find out. That's right, isn't it?
Unsafe sleep conditions cause serious injury and even death to infants. Never sleep with your baby on a sofa, in a chair, or in an adult bed. Protect the baby you love from becoming a tragic statistic. The only safe place for your baby to sleep is alone, on its back, in a crib, and in your room. For more information, visit cribsforkids.org. That's cribsforkids.org.
And welcome back to Eye on Washington and our discussion of a first-of-its-kind health study and why your DNA sample might mean a healthier life for you and also for all Americans. My guest today is Dr. Tony Slonim, the President and CEO of Renown Health. Well, we've mentioned the bad news that Northern Nevadans rank very high for a whole lot of diseases and conditions, so let's share the good news now. A whole lot of you Northern Nevada members of my audience care a whole lot about getting healthier. And that was evident with 10,000 of you filled the slots of a very unique DNA sampling project called the Healthy Nevada Project, led by Renown Health in corroboration with Desert Research Institute. And now the 2-year-long study has come to a close, and in October, research teams with Renown Institute for Health Innovation announced the first findings from that pilot study, telling how healthcare providers and scientists now will begin working on a number of clinical programs and scientific studies focus specifically on Washoe County's high age-adjusted death rates for heart disease, cancer, and chronic lower respiratory disease. My guest says the importance of the study cannot be overstated. In a news release on the date Phase 1 came to a close, my guest had this to say, quote, "We are now not only seeing those results, but also acting on them. Healthcare organizations from around the county are moving from solely providing care inside hospital walls to improving health outcomes across communities. It starts with health literacy, and this is the largest health literacy program in the country." And Dr. Slonim, how will knowing what their DNA sample reveals about their risk move from knowledge onto the clinical level and help them begin to live those healthier lives we talked about earlier?
Well, Marilee, I'd like to talk about the distinction between health and health care. Health care is what we do for you when you're sick or injured. But until you get to the point where you need health care services, not everyone is living in a state of health. They have risk factors that they can work on improving, and that's the health part of the conversation. We're hopeful that the Healthy Nevada Project, by taking people's DNA, integrating it with clinical information and environmental data, will give them feedback about how they're living and ways that they can change their behavior and live healthier lives.
In your opinion, with what the project is revealing, will you be able to help some people reverse or at least greatly improve conditions that they have or might have been struggling with for years?
We are hopeful. So as we get back results for Phase 1, the top 3 conditions, the CDC, Center for Disease Control's Tier 1 conditions, include BRCA-positive breast cancer, Lynch syndrome, and familial hypercholesterolemia. For familial hypercholesterolemia, there are treatments available that we can help you bring your cholesterol further down and reduce your risk for ongoing disease. For the BRCA and Lynch syndrome, screening and prevention are very important as we're going to allay the risks of breast cancer and in Lynch syndrome, colon cancer.
Tell us more about the Healthy Nevada Project itself. Take us back before 2016. How did you put it all together? Why did you take on this massive project? What was the fire under you that got this going?
The way it all came about was a very simple conversation. I got introduced to the principal investigator, Joe Jimsky, who is a scientist, data scientist at Desert Research Institute, and we had a cup of coffee together. We're both from New Jersey. It was a Saturday morning, and I learned what Desert Research Institute did. He learned what Renown Health did, and together we came up with this idea that, wow, if you took our rich environment of clinical information and combined it with the great science of environmental data that DRI had, we might look to understand the environmental impact on health and disease. And then, a couple of coffees later, the conversation said, well, the one dimension that we were missing was genetic data and social data, and we put those into this data warehouse. Wow. And Joe's team of data scientists now are analyzing the data using artificial intelligence methods and computer learning science to find trends and patterns in our health and disease states in Northern Nevada.
Amazing. You know, we've had you as our guest before a couple of times, and you made clear then, as you are now, that you really want Renown to be recognized as a leader, not just in healthcare in Northern Nevada, but nationally. How will the Healthy Nevada Project help further that goal?
There's not another community-based genetic testing project going on in the country. We're scaling the community in a way that right now we will be at about 10% of all of the people in Northern Nevada will be tested. And our goal, so that we can get to statistical significance, is to reach a 20% threshold. We're also being very purposeful about the kinds of people we recruit so that the data set that we evolve mirrors the kinds of conditions that we see proportionately in the community.
You know, we're going to get to your Phase 2 in the next segment, but I want to emphasize that the excitement goes well beyond Renown and DRI. I want to state it again. 10,000 Northern Nevadans signed up for Phase 1 in just 2 days. And I'm not going to give it away yet, the astounding sign-up result you've had in the new phase. But you're excited, DRI is excited, but the whole community has really gotten excited about this?
You know, the real heroes in this are the participants. Those people in Northern Nevada who put their hand up and said, I want to be a part of something bigger, not only for me and my family, but how can I contribute to understanding the health and the healthcare needs of our great community. You know, Nevadans have a pioneering spirit about them, and it comes through in this study.
Sure does. When we return, an update on phase 2 of the Healthy Nevada Project, no longer just the first ever, but now one of the largest ever population health studies in the nation. Let's find out more right after this.
Nevada's direct link to Capitol Hill. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, the only statewide Nevada news show based in Washington, D.C. All the top federal matters that matter most to Nevadans. Marilee talks with our congressional delegation and other leaders about the federal news you need to know. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, Nevada's Eye on Capitol Hill.
When you think RTC, what comes to mind? How about jobs? RTC road projects bring thousands of jobs to Washoe County, expanding and connecting Northern Nevada, growing our local economy, providing a more secure future for our residents and their families. So when you think jobs, think RTC, your RTC, the RTC of Washoe County.
Planet Hollywood, Paris, Harrah's, Caesar's Palace. It's one of the most exciting skylines in the world, Las Vegas. Caesars Entertainment has nearly 50 casinos worldwide, including these. But no matter which casino you visit, we want you to play responsibly. And if you need help setting or keeping a limit, we hope you'll call this number. You see, we know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
They gave me Vicodin after my knee surgery. I didn't know it would be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
We all think about it. You think about it when he buckles in, when you check your mirrors and put away your phone. RTC thinks about safety too. In fact, we create it. Center turn lanes mean fewer blind spots. Bike lanes keep cyclists and you safe. Roundabouts reduce injury collisions, and all these crosswalks are designed to keep families like yours safe. Safety is your priority, and it's ours too. Every day, in everything we do.
These are cool. Did you, what did you?
And welcome back to Eye on Washington and our discussion of a first-of-its-kind health study that my guest says might greatly impact the whole delivery of health care, not just in Nevada, but nationally. And we've been visiting with him, Dr. Tony Slonim, the president and CEO of Renown Health. Well, if you're Dr. Slonim and you believe you're leading a project that could change the entire face of health care, why stop at 10,000 people? Why not quintuple that and reach out to another 40,000 Washoe County residents and continue your goal of providing targeted health care treatment and changing lives in Northern Nevada and beyond? Well, that's exactly what his Renown Health, in corroboration with DRI and now Helix, a personal genomics company, have done. In this phase 2, those 40,000 participants will be tested using Helix's exome assay testing, which reads all 20,000 protein-coding genes and other regions in the body, which will allow for 100 times more data. My guest says it won't stop there. In years ahead, the Renown DRI partnership, known as Renown Institute for Health Innovation, aspires to offer genetic testing through Healthy Nevada Project to every Nevadan interested in learning more about their health and genetic profile. And Dr. Slonim, ultimately, drive positive healthcare outcomes statewide, maybe impact healthcare nationally, right?
That's exactly it. You know, our job is to make sure that we're making available the latest technology to people so that they can take advantage of it. So when you think about the expense that we have in healthcare, this is a relatively minor investment in the health of an entire state.
Sure. So you're kind of using a Healthy Nevada project as sort of a springboard, right, to expanding the state's access to leading edge clinical trials, as well as a way to forge new connections between you and big technology and pharmaceutical companies, right, like Helix, this partnership, correct?
Exactly. So, you know, I like to think of the project in two ways. One, at the individual level, as people are learning about their health and what they can do, but then as we move to a population or even a statewide level, what are the ways that we can combat those chronic disease rates and the ill health that we've got in Nevada? People are interested in that. There will be companies that will be interested in coming to Nevada because we can help. They can learn from us and then apply that learning elsewhere around the nation.
You know, we need to emphasize again the urgency in learning all we can about an individual's health profile and your hope that every single Nevadan will want to join the effort. You know, when you announced phase 2, Governor Sandoval stressed the need to do all we can to make Nevada a healthier place to live. And he mentioned Nevadans ranking as 47th worst in the nation for overall health. And then he sounded an optimistic note. Quote, this is what he said, quote, "Through the Healthy Nevada Project, we now have the gift of insight to make needed changes, not just for ourselves and our loved ones, but for Nevada." In other words, for the state in general as far as healthcare goes.
That's exactly right. Again, at the community level, if I call this for Northern Nevada the biggest strategic planning opportunity we have in health. Because if we learn why women are differentially experiencing breast cancer or why certain heart disease elements are coming out, we can set up programs that lead to early intervention and appropriate treatment where we might not have put them before.
You know, I can see why you're so excited about expanding this project. You know, as I was researching for today's show, I was kind of all over your site and I saw some really uplifting stories. You have people who have participated. This was in phase 1. And there's several stories on there. I urge you to go to the renowned website. You can check it out yourself. But, you know, but these people are already impacted by what you're doing. And one in particular really grabbed me. There's a woman who had been dealing with a mysterious lung infection, and it was greatly weakening her body. You know, she tells the story, and then she found out through her DNA sample, thanks to Healthy Nevada Project, that she had what's called alpha-1, which can lead to serious lung disease and adults and liver disease at any age. And through the Healthy Nevada Project, recently released results, I understand she's now undergoing treatment. The project might have saved her life.
That's exactly right. And Heather is who you're referring to. And
Hi, Heather.
Heather has an amazing story. And it is one example where, you know, whether you engage with the project because you want to learn a little bit more about your family and your ancestry, or because there may be something wrong with you, Heather did all of the right things. She saw her doctor, she got the CAT scans, she saw the lung specialist, and no one could figure out what was wrong with her while her condition continued to deteriorate.
Amazing
with
story.
the results of the project, she's now on enzyme replacement and will be able to watch her daughter, 9-year-old daughter, grow up. That's an incredible story.
That's fantastic. When we return, Dr. Slonim's long-range hope for what we can do with what we learn from the Healthy Nevada Project. That's right after this.
Planet Hollywood, Paris, Harrah's, Caesar's Palace. It's one of the most exciting skylines in the world, Las Vegas. Caesars Entertainment has nearly 50 casinos worldwide, including these. But no matter which casino you visit, we want you to play responsibly. And if you need help setting or keeping a limit, we hope you'll call this number. You see, we know you're coming to our casinos to have a good time, and we always want you to leave feeling like you did.
Nevada's direct link to Capitol Hill. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. The only statewide Nevada news show based in Washington, D.C. All the top federal matters that matter most to Nevadans. Marilee talks with our congressional delegation and other leaders about the federal news you need to know. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce, Nevada's Eye on Capitol Hill.
I got my own iPod Touch and use my dad's login to get on gambling sites. Poker is the best, but I'm losing a lot. Since I'm too young to play, they're not allowed to keep the money and my dad won't find out. That's right, isn't it?
Are you studying tonight? We can meet up and study together.
Just text me after.
Okay. No!
There is no text, tweet, or call that's worth a life.
One pedestrian death is one too many.
Look up.
And look out for each other.
My son Steve did not want to die. He wanted to get well. He tried really hard to get well, but his prescription opioids killed him. We found a Post-it note that he had written about his opioids. At first, it was a lifeline. Now it is a noose around my neck. You never expect that you're going to lose a child. It's all out of order.
Want more federal news that affects Nevada, its businesses, and its residents? Then you need to subscribe to Nevada's Washington Watch newsletter, your sole source of online news direct from Washington, D.C. Visit joycecommunications.com and subscribe today.
And we are back with our closing segment of Eye on Washington. We've had as our very special guest today, Dr. Tony Slonim, the president and CEO of Renown Health. And Dr. Slonim, as we close out today's show, I thought we might again show the importance of this whole project with this quote I found from Helix co-founder Dr. James Liu. He said of your phase 2 launch, quote, "Taken individually, environmental, genetic, and clinical data are each powerful tools for advancing health, but as a comprehensive picture of these data can be even more powerful, finding new risk factors within populations and further improving community health." And that's a good summary of your personal focus we've discussed today, how contributing a genetic sample can lead to better scientific understanding and hopefully lead to a healthier Nevada and nation. And on that note, I want to know what your ultimate goal is for this project. It goes beyond Nevada, doesn't it?
It certainly does. So we are currently in the midst of our 50,000 tests. We hope to expand that to 100,000 in northern Nevada, and in January we're going to start enrolling children 12 and over. We also hope to be in Las Vegas in January so that we can advance the southern part of the state's work in healthy with a partner down in Las Vegas. Excellent. And then in July of next year, out beyond the walls of Las Vegas into the Healthy America Project.
That's fantastic. Thanks for being here today about this the Healthy Nevada Project, which really is exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you, Marilyn.
That does wrap up this week's Eye on Washington. For more information about every federal issue that impacts you in Nevada, please visit our website, joycecommunications.com. Be sure to like us on Facebook. You can follow me on Twitter, catch up with any shows you may have missed on our YouTube page. Thanks for joining us today on Eye on Washington. I'm Marilee Joyce in Washington, D.C. Have a good day today.
Thank you for watching Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce. Eye on Washington with Marilee Joyce airs statewide in Nevada solely due to the generosity of our sponsors. Can your company help us continue our mission to remain Nevada's top source of federal news? If you can help us help Nevadans, please visit joycecommunications.com/WordPress/EOW sponsors and join us today. That's joycecommunications.com/WordPress/EOW sponsors.